Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 27 of albums that are 30 years old in 2023. That's right, we're looking back 30 years to 1993. We have 31 days in March. We've been picking out our 31 favorite albums released in 1993. They're celebrating their 30th birthdays, their 30th anniversaries, however you like to look at it. Today, on day 27, we're going to take a look at the sixth album from this jazz fusion band that put out this album in 1993 for Zebra Records, produced by Scott Henderson and Gary Willis, the two leaders of the band. I'm talking about Face First from Tribal Tech. That's right, more jazz fusion. 1993 was a pretty good year for jazz fusion, actually. Most people think of the heyday of fusion as the 70s, and rightfully so. But there was some pretty good stuff that came out in the 80s and 90s and even more recently. And this is definitely one of them. Maybe not the apex of the Tribal Tech catalog, but I still find this album very, very enjoyable. And if you want to hear more about this album and a couple others that came out in 1993, make sure you tune into a recent episode of 4 Fusion Friday that we did, where we talked about this album and a couple others from 1993 as well. So featuring on this album, we've got Scott Henderson, legendary jazz fusion guitarist Scott Henderson, Gary Willis on fretless bass. Like I said, those are the two main guys in this band, songwriters. They formed the band. We've also got Scott Kinsey on keyboards and Kirk Covington on drums and vocals on one track. Yes, there's vocals on one track here on a fusion album. That should never be the case. Ask my good friends Eric Porter and George LeMay about vocals on fusion albums. Not something that should be done. Jazz fusion albums should be all instrumental in our minds, right? Anyway, but this is a really strong album, I think. 11 tracks. I would say probably 8 or 9 of the 11 tracks I think are really, really good. The others are okay. One not so okay, but for the most part, this is still a really strong album that has some just terrific tracks. Most of them fairly lengthy. These guys don't do short songs for the most part. We've got Face First. Title track kicks it off. That's awesome. For those of you not familiar with the Tribal Tech catalog, this album kind of signals a little looser feel for the band. They went through kind of some stylistic changes throughout their career, and right around this time they were starting to get a little on the jammy side, a little bit of blues and funk feel in their music. Arrangements are a little looser. You can kind of hear that right off the bat on Face First. That's a terrific song. Canine, also really good. Then you got After Hours. After Hours is nice. It's a little kind of dreamy and atmospheric. Then you got Revenge Stew. And then one of my favorite tracks on the album, Salt Lick, which is just under 10 minutes long. And that's got some ferocious playing from all the guys in the band. And, Scott Henderson's guitar skills are in fine form throughout this whole album. Then you got Yeah, Okay. That's another ripper. The Crawling Horror is more of a kind of like slow build. There's some couple of songs on this album that have a sort of like Alan Holdsworth solo. If you're familiar with Alan Holdsworth, some of his latter solo career, he did lots of songs that are very kind of expansive and atmospheric and kind of like ethereal sounding. There's some of that stuff going on this album as well. You got Boiler Room. That's a quick little kind of throwaway track. Then you got Boat Gig, which is like a blues rock tune with vocals. I know they did that. They had a blast doing it, and Scott Henderson would do more stuff like that later on in his solo career. But again, kind of sticks out like a sore thumb on this album. Then you got the Red Hot, The Precipice. That's another one of my favorite tracks on here. That's quite good. And then the last track is Wounded. That's more of that kind of like atmospheric, ethereal, kind of like, just kind of meditative type sound for these guys with little bursts of guitars or bass or keyboards or what have you, but for the most part it's just kind of like this floating kind of track. It doesn't really do a hell of a lot. There's a couple of those on this album, but there's some explosive stuff on here as well. Like I said, lots of amazing guitar solos from Scott Henderson, some great lead work on fretless bass from Gary Willis, and the other two guys are, this is the classic lineup of the band. So good stuff, I think. And Face First from Tribal Tech. Let's see if we got a picture of the whole band. I don't even remember. Well, there we go. There they are. There they are right there. And this was released on Blue Moon Recordings. At least that's the edition that I have. What did I say originally came out on? Zebra Records, right? yeah, I don't know. I guess there's been a couple different issues of this album, but yeah, this is the one that I have. So anyway, that is my pick for today. If you are a fan of this sort of thing, let us know what you think of Face First down in the comments below. But otherwise, let's hear your pick for day 27. We only have a few days left, right? We're going to go through the rest of this week, and then I believe Saturday is the first. So we're going to start on my favorite guitar riff masters of all time, and like I said, each day you're going to get a different riff master and my 3 favorite riffs from that guitar player. So you guys go ahead and start getting your list together and getting your 3 favorite riffs from each of your 3 favorite riffs from each of your 3 favorite guitar riff masters. Say that fast more than once. I dare you. Anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing in the month of April. So stay tuned for that coming up starting this Saturday. What do we have coming up on the channel here? Tonight we've got, of course, the Hudson Valley Squares are happening this week. So stay tuned for that tonight, where we pick out some of our favorite opening tracks of an album. Favorite opening tracks of all time. You know, there's nothing better than having a red hot song kick off an album. In some cases, it kicks off and sets the stage for the rest of the album in a great way. Sometimes that kickoff track is the best song on the album, right? Maybe the rest of the album is not that great, but that first song is kick-ass. We're going to pick out our 5 favorite kickoff tracks each. That's what we're kind of doing tonight. So stay tuned for that. We've got Wednesday. We've got new album review day. Should have, I got lots of great new stuff. It's just a matter of finding time to listen to everything. We got new Camelot, new Cold Stairs, new Night Demon, new Redemption. Like I said, we got that new Transatlantic Live album. Got definitely get the Jade Warrior this week. That little two CD retrospective, not a retrospective. It's long lost recordings from 1973 from Jade Warrior, Eclipse and Fifth Element are the 2 albums that they did that never got released. Well, now they're released. So that'll definitely be coming up as well, and hopefully a couple other things. We'll see how much we can squeeze in. And then we've got the Monsters Den on Thursday night, where we are going to be talking about some horror films that are very popular that we can't stand, right? So it's going to be one of those shows, so stay tuned for that. Friday morning, The Funhouse with Martin Popoff on Friday, and then we've got Ranking the Albums on Sunday. I will be ranking the catalog of Blood, Sweat, and Tears. So that is coming up on Sunday. So stay tuned for all that and more here on the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations as well as our merch page. So thanks everybody for everything. And we'll see you tomorrow morning with another album that is 30 years old in 2023. But stay tuned tonight for the Hudson Valley Squares. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.